nation mourns the passing of furniture guy Ed Feldman, killed in a flash fire at a local donut shop while purchasing a half-dozen glazed crullers. And in sports...
When are they going to stop? Keep playing it over and over. Damn him. Told him to lay off the sweets. Well, I got to get to this bureau. I can't believe he's gone. He was like a brother to me. I hated him, but... Oh, well, I got to get this bureau done.
Oh, a little more to the left, please, Joe.
What's that?
What, do you got wax sticks in your ears, babe?
Who said I... Ed, is that you?
It's not Pandit Nehru. Who the heck do you think it is?
Wait, I must be hearing things.
Look, just do me a favor, will you, Joe?
What?
Open the bottom drawer.
Open the bottom drawer?
Just open the bottom drawer.
Well, yes.
Whoa, that feels good.
Ed, you son of a gun, that is you.
Tonight you'll meet two buddies whose relationship is good. Though Ed is slightly different, he happens to be made of wood. He's my buddy, he's my bureau, he's a friend you can be sure of. He's my buddy, he's my bureau.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome to Furniture on the Mend.
Yes, we are back. And this is a bureau. It's a 50s bureau.
As anyone can plainly see, and it's made out of a wood called maple.
Maple. And it was made in the 50s, and it was a common practice in the 50s with furniture like this to try and get rid of the look of the natural wood.
Why did they do that?
Because maple has variations in the wood, anywhere from a light yellow color to a medium brown. This top, for instance, has 4 boards. It was surfaced, and then they would put a stain on it. And on top of the stain, they would shoot a colored toner, and then they would clear coat, and thus make everything kind of unified in the same color. We're going to show what this piece is going to look like with a purely natural finish. We're going to remove this ugliness, and then we're going to sand it down, and then we're going to put on 3 or 4 different types of finishes on different parts of the bureau. But first, we want to strip.
Strip using the paste stripper, the cheap throwaway brush, and some elbow.
And you just pat on the remover. You pat like this because you're leaving more on the surface. When you rub around,
you're spreading it around.
You're spreading it too much. So put it on thicker. You won't have to apply as many applications.
So once you put the stripper on, as we've told you many times, although you may not remember, you let it wait. You let it wait?
You let it sit.
You let it sit, and you wait.
You can let it wait.
No, no, no. This sits, you wait. It's an active verb.
That's right. So why are you asking me?
I don't know. Well, because you're the only one here.
I'm active.
You let it sit for 15 minutes, and then you go back and you may reapply more stripper.
If you need to.
If you need to.
If
this
you've
is a
applied it properly, then it will come off in one application.
Or fell swoop, as the
Or one
finishing.
Feldman. So, we're going to let this sit, and then we'll come back and rub it off with the planer chips.
We'll wait.
We'll wait.
It sits.
In fact, go over there, and I'll go over here, and I'll have a donut.
Ready?
Yeah.
Set.
Go ahead.
Go. No, no, you...
You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Ready, set, go. 15 minutes have passed.
Look at the muck and mire we have here.
Hi, muck. Hi,
just pour it on. Pour it on.
No, I like to...
Can you pour it on?
I like to scatter it like chestnuts in May.
That's good. Now we're breading.
Big cutlet time. This is the planer chips. We got them from our friend, the planer.
No, just rub it all around. What this does, remember, it absorbs all of the remover. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of lacquer thinner.
And some 4-0 steel wool, and that'll clean off
all the residue.
All the stuff that's in the grain.
See, it's revealing the boards.
We are not, but you should do the following. Wear the respirator.
More chips over the top to dry up the lacquer thinner. And a brush to clean.
Look at that.
take off the gloves.
Now, I think this looks better this way than it did with that yucky, reddish kind of a stain on it.
Now, you sand this down lightly with an orbital, and then you can come back and do a nice natural finish, as it should be, natural.
After this break, we actually will be showing you different finishes for this here bureau.
This program is brought to you in part by Black & Decker. It's how things get done.
Black & Decker has just made jobs around the house a lot easier to do with the VersaPack interchangeable battery system. With VersaPack, you get more for your money because one set of rechargeable batteries powers over 20 different Black & Decker cordless tools. VersaPack from Black & Decker. It's how things get done.
The Krylon Touch means making the old look new. The Krylon Touch. And the boring becomes beautiful. Show your true colors. Don't just paint, give it the Krylon Touch. Only with Krylon.
People on the West and East Coast don't know anything about real barbecue. You have to come to Kansas City to get real barbecue. Good barbecue should be messy, yes. Even the names make you hungry for barbecue. Ooh. I barbecue about 2 or 3 times a week. My barbecue is just as good or better than any restaurant in Kansas City because I make it. Good ribs. Good ribs. Can I get that to go, please?
TLC takes you inside the electrifying world of the urban ER.
An 18-year-old male was shot point-blank range.
Blazingly brilliant. Graphic and gripping.
Everybody clear?
It's not for the faint-hearted. Witness the pulse-pounding action.
Trauma systems activated, trauma system activated.
Spend the night in a real emergency room. Trauma, life and death in the ER, tonight at 10 on TLC. Viewer discretion is advised.
We're going to show you various types of looks and drying times and various other aspects of different kinds of finishes.
You said that all in one breath. He says that sometimes, one breath. It just, all the words come out at the end. He's talking like this. Anyway, we have 4 different finishes that may or may not look very dramatically different on TV, but they all have their benefits. The first one we're going to use on the top is an actual lacquer. It's a brushing lacquer that you can buy in paint stores. We're going to use a water-based poly, a regular oil-based poly.
And a shellac.
And a shellac. And I'm going to use a lacquer that I've put, again, in the yellow bucket. You can see it's just a white satin lacquer. And it's a brushing lacquer. And it's very...
As opposed to a spraying lacquer.
Right. It's a very difficult to brush lacquer, but it offers good protection, and it dries fast also.
So that's a good quality.
You can do,
many lacquers don't dry very quickly
You can do 2 coats, 3 coats in a day. Must be brushed very quickly. A lot of people talk about this, or I've seen, have come to me and say, oh, you know, it's hard to work with that stuff. Well, it's hard to work with, yes, but when you get the rhythm and learn that you don't go back over your brush marks, unless you know how, like that.
Like, because don't do this, and then he does it.
Well,
I don't think it's that hard to work with.
For the novice, you must be able to come back and barely touch the surface and pull up any drips that you have.
The good thing about lacquer, not only does it look beautiful,
it smells good.
It smells good, it dries nice and clear, and it also gives about the best kind of protection you can get.
Really tough, durable finish. Now, after this dries, you can sand it down, apply a second coat, which is even more difficult to apply because the lacquer bonds to itself. So you got to be real fast again. And
let's take this out of the way.
But in some instances, 1 coat would be enough. You could easily sand this lightly, put some buff it with some 4-0 steel wool, and a nice paste wax should be enough, or you could put an automotive wax on it.
Let's do some drawers in a variety of finishes.
Yeah, since we have 4 drawers, Ed's going to put that lacquer on another drawer, and I'm going to resort to a nylon brush. This is a regular latex brush, nylon brush, because I'm using what looks like milk, but it's not. This is a water-based poly. New technology has produced water-based polyurethanes that go on milky, and they dry clear. So you know when they're dry, by the way they look. If it's clear, you know it's dry. Easy cleanup, wash with soap and water. It dries in about 3 hours. You could scuff it lightly and then apply a second coat. The only disadvantage to these water-based polys is that you can't rub them out like your old-fashioned oil varnishes or polyurethanes. It's like trying to sand latex paint.
Now I'm going to be using a shellac. Now this is a shellac cut 50% with alcohol, not the spit coat 5-to-1, but half and half alcohol and shellac, and I'm using another Badger Fitch.
Right, that's a small version of what I was using.
Yes. Now this stuff dries very quickly. That's one of its good properties. You shouldn't use shellac, especially cut like this, on a top, because it doesn't afford the kind of protection that a lacquer or poly would, or Hollywood.
Well, like the lacquer, you can do a whole finish with shellac.
In one day.
In one day, even a morning, if the weather conditions are good. And this is something, I don't know if I said it before, but if there's dampness out, the shellac may have a tendency to cloud. But you can avoid that by putting a little bit of lacquer thinner into the shellac and the alcohol.
And as you can see, it's drying. This is an amber.
Yeah.
And it's drying in a sort of a honey look,
and if you put
which is a very nice look.
If you put 2 or 3 more coats of that, it will deepen in color. This next one is a, they call it a liquid plastic. It's like a polyurethane. It's an oil base.
That jar is just wide enough.
It is for this brush. We've got a lot of these jars.
That's a Chinese bristle brush.
Now, these polyurethanes go on clear also. This is a satin polyurethane. And these, again, like the water-based ones, it takes 4 to 6 hours to dry before you could put your second coat on. And it offers real good protection. A lot of industrial places, factories and such, use urethane. They sell urethanes also for metal. If you wanted to coat, say, your patio furniture, have that wrought iron look.
Your Buick.
Or your Buick. Remember, every time you apply, to go the entire length to pull off any drips and bubbles.
So we have a top and 4 different drawers, 4 different finishes, 4 different looks, and 4 different qualities, different
and
drying times.
2 of us.
All have pros, all have cons.
When we come back, we'll be answering letters.
And ridiculing the people who wrote them.
There's more soap residue in your hair than you think. So you'd better call your Rain Soft water treatment dealer today.
Welcome to Thomasville. With this Memorial Day, you'll find elegance and timeless craftsmanship at once-in-a-lifetime prices. The Thomasville Memorial Day Sale. Extraordinary furniture, extraordinarily priced. Call now for details, because after May 27th, this sale will only be a beautiful memory. Thomasville. Make yourself at home.
In the Stanley Laboratories, we find out just how good our decorative mirror doors are by opening and closing them over 100,000 times. Funny, isn't that the same way you do it? Decorative mirror doors from Stanley.
The Human Zoo. And the Biology of Love. Desmond Morris's The Human Animal. Saturday beginning at 8 on TLC. Get ready for how-to advice from the ground up on the Renovation Guide. Coming up next. Then, double your knowledge, double your fun with back-to-back episodes of Home Time. It's all next right here on TLC.
That's my daughter Jenny over there with her friend. And you know what they're doing? They're learning to read with Sticky Bear, the children's reading program with a proven record of success. Jenny and her friends take their Sticky Bear workbooks and flipbooks everywhere, even here to the park. Thanks to Sticky Bear, Jenny is practically reading on her own. The Sticky Bear reading program has already helped more than 30 million children get a head start on their education.
I think that Sticky Bear is a program that's very beneficial to a family, and it's an excellent investment.
It's a great interactive product, especially for parents and children. It's wonderful. I love it.
All of us know that reading is one of the greatest gifts you can give your child. Don't wait. Call the toll-free number on your screen now to receive a free video telling you more about the entire Sticky Bear program. Give your child the advantage of learning to read with Sticky Bear.
Ursula Falcomato from Brooklyn, New York writes,
Brooklyn, New York.
I love it. The best food in the world. I do furniture refinishing as a hobby. What do you do with leather tops found on old pieces? The ones with gold leaf design around the circumference. I love that. I had one with gold leaf. I have gold leaf around my circumference. I would like to strip and refinish it as the rest of the piece.
You can't strip and refinish leather.
But I tried it on one and it didn't come out so good. I can understand why. Thanks, I enjoy the show. We enjoy you, Ursula. You're going to have to mask off that leather. If you've tried it already without masking off and tried to strip that leather, you have killed, effectively, your leather. You're going to have to strip the leather itself off. Now, most of those leather inserts are bonded in with a glue. Some are tacked into a channel. You're going to have to figure out how that comes out. You can peel that off, clean off all the glue underneath, and buy, actually at a leather supply house, new leather area with that gold leaf circumference.
Okay. Dear Joe and Ed, this is from Tom Kegley, Richfield, Minnesota.
Oh, is the bank open again since the James gang left?
I have found a formula for making my own stripper using lye and cornstarch, just like we showed.
That was Northfield, though.
This you got it from a book. This book says it will raise the grain. My question is, I did half the board with a commercial stripper and half with my homemade recipe. I could not feel any difference, but with the homemade stripper, you could see all of the grain lines much more than with the commercial stripper. Is this what it means to raise the grain to the eye and not to the touch? Any water-based product or you know, hosing something down or washing with a sponge and water is going to raise wood. So the thing with the lye is I have used it in my own business after I've used the commercial stripper. Yes, it does raise the grain, but all you have to do is sand the wood. You sand it with 100 grit paper or whatever you think needs to be, whatever you think the grit needs to be.
Dear Furniture on the Mend, my daughter and I love your show. This is my favorite kind of letter. We watched the entire upholstery series.
Don't read the whole letter, just get to the meat of the problem.
Got inspired to do an old wing-back chair, great success, etc., etc. What kind of staples and staplers do you use? We've tried many. They won't go through the fabric and wood. We are using all tacks, but it would probably be faster if we could staple. You need 3/8 inch or 1/4 inch staples. You also need something called divergent point staples. Chevy Chase did this in 1976, I just want you to know. Divergent point staples.
And it always works.
No, it doesn't always work. That's pointy, not flat-ended staples. If you're really into it, for about $200–300, you can buy a small air compressor and an air compressed adaptable staple gun, and that will shoot into anything. But without that, the electric one I can recommend is anything that looks like it has a big engine on top. All the little nice ones that look like they're from the future that you can fit in your pocket, they won't work.
Now,
so
he
find
says
one
I'm long-winded. Hey, we're back with the 50s chair.
Remember, you saw us, we saw you. We do see you, we just don't tell you. You saw us do the seat of the chair. While you were gone, we did the back, which is a lot like doing the seat, and we feel if we repeated ourselves too much,
you'd switch to something else, like Clutch Cargo or Montel.
Same show, right?
Well, there's no spin or a paddlefoot or Swampy.
On Montel.
No.
But notice that the lips move the same way on Montel as on Clutch. What we've done with the back is we've repeated the same sort of operations, pulling the hem through to the back of the frame. We've overlapped the back over the seat, so you will not see any bare wood. We've made a couple of release cuts here, so you don't see any pleats. We've stapled up the side, all the way to the top, and then we've made some folds here.
And no need to be neat there because this boomerang is going to go right over that.
Why bother?
So it's a fairly easy upholstery job.
I think so. Pulling, tugging, stapling while watching tightness and making sure that the fabric is always straight. The next thing we do is...
The boomerang.
The boomerangs. There is a slight difference between the new boomerang and the old boomerang. If we took the old pattern and allowed it to cover the entire boomerang, you would have it symphonically blending with these stripes here. However, there would be conflict. There would be a cacophony.
Just a combo down there.
Of pattern running this way and this would be a dissonant sort of a John Cage kind of
And I wouldn't like it because it's my chair.
It's, how many times must we hear? Are you going to let anybody else sit on it? Is it just going to be like Archie Bunkers?
My chair.
Is my chair there, Gloria? So we're not going to do that. What we are going to do is what we have
You had to put
done.
in two pieces of fabric,
We've
right?
cut 2 pieces of fabric that we've joined just by stapling this top piece down to the board and the other one simply folded over. This seam, it's there if you look really closely, but if you put it to the side of the chair, you will see.
It's kind of a continuance of the crease where the seat meets the back.
Oh, you are so right.
Sure, well, that's what we meant to be. These cleats are important because if they weren't on there, and you drag this chair around and it hit a bend or a bump,
you could
split it. The leg would split.
And you could also fall and it would stun you or stun you.
So this saves your legs just like cleats on your shoes, like they used to use. Tabs, that you call them. Saved your heels. Oh!
Well, if you're going to put this against the wall, you're done. But if you feel as if somebody is going to sneak up behind you and you don't want a tech look,
you
like
must
this,
take care of the back.
The outside back.
So,
ordinarily, we'd put the outside back on right after we put on the inside back in the arms, but we needed this opening, the open outside back, to attach the arms. So the outside back is now going to be attached. Oh, what fun. Oh, joy. Let's go. Happy, happy, joy, joy. The original chair had a piece of cardboard that was curved here to fit the curve of the chair, and this established a nice flat back. Sometimes you do that with a piece of burlap, sometimes you do it with a piece of cotton batting, but this, they did it with a piece of cardboard. That started to happen in the 50s too. Cardboard defining the shape as opposed to padding defining the shape, and that goes on today.
Here's a new piece.
New piece.
Don't be careful with that because it's much.
Okay. So we've bent this a little bit, and this is going to define our shape. I'm going to put one staple
Are you
there.
going to tuck the fabric under that?
Yes.
Is that it?
This is just so it doesn't move around.
Oh, okay.
And then I can position this so it laps.
That looks good right there.
And I'll put one there. And I'll put one here.
Right close to the edge.
Down by the river.
Mm-hmm. Seasons will pass you by.
We're so old. It's all right. We'll just,
Get under there.
We'll just tuck it in. Always nice to have a tucking tool nearby. There you go.
Make sure it's lined up with those.
Yeah, we're going to line it up by flipping it back over. Now, stop le gong.
Oh.
The next thing we do is we want to put a row of staples down at the bottom so that we secure the cardboard there.
Oh.
You want to do that part?
No, go ahead, you do it.
All right.
I have no need to. Oh, well, let's...
We'll tuck this underneath, and we'll spike through. How many times have some people seen this?
They never tire of it.
People meet me on the street all the time and say, I am so tired of it. And would you care to give the inaugural hit? Make sure that this edge meets the edge of the boomerang.
And I'm pulling back as I hit, right?
Oh, yeah. A glancing blow.
But I don't want to hit it all the way in first,
Yeah,
right?
you got it. Now, here, you're going to have to glance that blow and not hit the finish.
See, he's letting me do this because it's my
his
chair. Oh, look at the back.
The outside back is completely attached, metal tack strips on both sides. We then pulled it down, stapled it across the bottom, and...
Then we put on the final cambric or dust cover.
A true finish, like parsley on top of the meal. Now we have...
I like basil.
Better than parsley, but parsley's good for the breath.
Watercress.
But no matter. Let's turn it around and let them marvel at the beauty. I'm going to hit. Of an era. The 50s chair with the zigzag springs, with the modern look, with the emphasized arms. I think we're going to have a dinner party, 50s style, fondue.
No, I'm going to have a reading. That's all. I'm going to sit down, read, with a drink, small table.
But Millie and Jerry are coming over.
Tonight you'll meet two buddies whose relationship is good. Though Ed is slightly different, he happens to be made of wood. Now that he's gone, I'll still go on, although it really hurts. And yet it's so convenient to fill his drawers with shirts.